Hello, welcome back to Math Time with Professor Prime. And I am your host, as always, Professor Prime. And welcome back to my Math of the World series, the series where I talk about math and how it connects with and relates to different subjects, different academic fields, different forms of media, different franchises, pretty much anything and everything, because math is everywhere, and that's not inherently a bad thing. So, that being said, recently baseball season started. And that got me thinking, well, math is all over the place in baseball. And so I wanted to talk about that in this video. So we're going to talk about math and baseball. And to that extent, I'm going to talk about how it's really used in the game, and then how it's used when you're looking at things that are involved in the game. And then talk about things in a more meta sense. It'll all come together. So here we go. With baseball, you have two teams going at it, and they take turns batting and being in the field. And if you're batting, the idea is to, hit the ball and run to the bases and get home safely so you can get your point. More commonly known as a run in baseball. And there's layers to that. The idea is, while you're doing that, the other team is out in the field and they're trying to get you out. And if you have 3 outs, you then have to give them their turn at the bat. In which case, if you're that batting team that had to go to a fielding team, now you're trying to get them out. And so, a couple things come into play here. So you have your, two teams, and they're going back and forth, and they're trying to get each other out. And each time, you have someone at bat and someone out in the field. That constitutes an inning. And while there's not a set game clock, it's typically 9 innings in a baseball game. So you're trying to get that. So math is already all over the place just in how you play the game, and you're keeping tracks of the runs that you're making, and you're keeping track of that numerically. And the idea is, if you get to that certain point where you're at 9 innings and you're tied, then you play extra innings until someone wins, and that's pretty interesting. And so in addition to how you play the game, there's math in how So there's math in how you play the game of baseball, but there's math in that everything leading up to that. So in addition to scoring points and how the game functions, you're out in the field, and that field has a certain area that it covers, right? And that's all measured out. And what are you playing on when you're running around the bases? It's a diamond, right? There's a method to that, and each spot from base to base is measured out. There's math in that. When you have your ball, your gloves, your bat, there's geometry and all these items involved in baseball, just like there's geometry in how the field is constructed. And even the clothes that you'd be wearing in the field, there's math behind that. And then it gets kind of crazy. So you have your players, right? And if you're talking about things professionally, people are tracking their stats, right? They're looking at how many times they're, up at bat and hitting the ball. They're looking at how many times they're making a home run. They're looking at how many times they were involved in someone getting a run. They're looking at, how many hits they're making per game. They're looking at so many different things, and it's gotten so crazy over the years that there's even an organization dedicated to baseball statistics and research, and to the point where they've invented Sabernomics, which is pretty much all about baseball statistics and developing those statistics and creating new analytical tools for them. It's absolutely insane. So math is all over baseball, math and stat. And then when you look at things continuing on this sort of meta trend, right? You have a certain amount that you're making, whether you're in the minor or the major leagues. You have this business. It's getting money. So, you're paying, if you're like a fan, and you're like going out to see someone, you're paying to see them, right? If you're a player, you're getting paid to play. If you're a coach, you're getting paid to coach. Either way you cut it, there's money involved, and where there's money, there's math. And so there's all of that. And whether you're the one doing the sabernomics or the one looking at the results, there's math in looking at player stats. And that's interesting because, that's used for a lot of different things. And so when I think about baseball, it becomes harder and harder over the years to not associate that with math on some level. There's just so much to it. And like I said, there's geometry when it comes to the field. There's geometry when it comes to the items that you're using. And I'd like to add that there's physics when you're playing. You know, there's physics involved with, hitting that bat and letting that go like 90 miles per hour. 'Cause some people do. But I think I said that wrong. But because the sometimes like a pitcher could actually get that fast and throw that ball at 90 miles per hour. You're hitting the ball at 90 miles per hour if you're on bat. But the whole thing is, whether you're batting or whether you're pitching, there's a lot of physics in what you're doing. Same for like running, when you're trying to like score your runs. And the same could also be said if you're trying to catch that ball. There's physics and all of that. There's geometry and all of that. And so if you're a baseball player, you're a natural mathematician, as we all are, and you're forced to do some quick math. And I think that's pretty cool. So I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say about math and baseball. I think that covers pretty much what I wanted to say. Just like whether you're dealing with how the game is played, you're dealing with items in the game, you're dealing with, money when it comes to the games. There's math and all that. And again, Sabernomics, that is a thing. I'll link some info in the description if I remember to do so.